Howdy y'all, I'm Mar with Elementally Functional Family Fitness, here to share EIM to guide grandparents. EIM is elementally intuitive movement. We're going to begin with level O and then do some 1 and then level 2. Level O, our hands are connected. There's different ways that our hands can be connected. It can be fingertip to fingertip, it can be palm to palm, they can be back to back. So we get to explore different ways to put our hands together, and in the process as we are exploring these different ways to put our hands together, we're mobilizing our bodies and exploring our near sphere. While we're doing that, we're mobilizing our shoulders, our elbows, our wrists, and our hands. So that's helping to lubricate those joints with synovial fluid just through the gentle movements that we're doing. Why are we guiding our grandparents through a seated version? Well, some of our grandparents don't necessarily have stable balance anymore, or they may not be able to stand for long periods of time. So seated work is more comfortable for them to do than standing. Some of our grandparents are super active and they can do standing EIM with us. And if that's the case, awesome. Teach them how to do standing EIM. But if seated is what works better for them, here's a practice that you can share with them that helps mobilize both of your bodies. And it helps to support your own EIM practice, even if you do standing or seated. So we have our hands together and we're exploring space. We're also inhaling through our nostrils so that our noses can serve as filters. We're exhaling either through our noses or through our mouths, pausing on the exhale so that we can build up our CO2 tolerance. Because the less breaths that we take per minute, the calmer our bodies feel. We want those inhales to be slow and steady so that more nitric oxide can build up inside our nasal cavities, which serves as the first line of defense against space invaders. So while we mobilize, we breathe. We're also supporting our spines with our centers. I'm not slouching in this chair, I'm holding myself upright. When we're seated, it's even more important to support our spines with upright posture because there's more force of gravity on us the more that we lean forward in the chair. There's even more force on our spines when we're seated than when we're standing. Amazing, huh? So maintaining excellent posture while we're seated is a great practice to have. And we do that through supporting our spines, not just with our back muscles, but also the muscles in the front of our bodies. Another way that we help to support our spines is that if we do come forward, we hinge at the hip instead of bending at the waist. By hinging at the hip, we maintain a nice straight stack on our spine. So that way the force of gravity is well distributed through our vertebra and along the discs, the intervertebral disc, which is the cartilage that provides support in between to our spines. So we are aware of breath, we are aware of center, we are aware of our base. Our base, we want our feet to be lined up with our knees. So there, it's distributing the force through our knees, even though we're not standing on them. That's okay, this is how we train our bodies to remember to not have our toes in or not have our feet out, but to be lined up. Why do we guide our grandparents? Because by teaching others, it helps to reinforce the information that we're learning. It's also something that we can do together as a family. As we're exploring space with our hands, we're moving through planes. So we've got our horizontal plane, we've got a vertical plane, We've got diagonal planes, and we're holding the planes as we're moving through. The further out that our arms are from our bodies, the more we're going to feel the force of gravity pulling down on them, and the harder our muscles have to work against gravity to maintain and hold that plane. So if you notice that your arms are getting tired from going out, keep your arms closer in. That's okay. Even if your arms are in, we're still getting mobilization, because the main goal of EIM is to mobilize. We want to mobilize our shoulder joints so they produce synovial fluid, our elbows, our wrists, our fingers, because if we keep our bodies moving, they stay moving. And to keep our bodies moving, we have to keep them moving. Part of what EIM does is help remind our bodies of the many different ways that we can move that we may forget otherwise. So that's level O, with our hands connected. Now level 1, our hands are connected to our bodies. It might be one hand on the body and one hand out, or both hands on our bodies. And this is our proprioception level, also our self-massage level. Proprioception is our sense of where our bodies are in space. So as we are grazing our bodies, our skin with our hands, it's helping our nervous systems recognize where we are in space. It's also stimulating our cutaneous nerves, which are the nerves in our skin. If we happen to notice any discomfort along the way, we can massage ourselves, we can apply pressure. We can knead. When we are reaching down to our feet, we are stretching, remembering to hinge at the hips. We can push against our backs and wriggle, go from side to side, and then give ourselves a self-massage in that way. If we do a lot of seated work, like for school, in front of a computer, or do a lot of knitting or crocheting, we might have a lot of forward posture like this, so we can open up our chests by pushing the muscles out and adding movement with our arms, and explore the different ways that you can move your arms as you massage the chest muscle, the pectoral muscle, and push back to help open up the chest. And then do the other side, going from the center out to the corner. If it doesn't feel comfortable, don't do that. Do it a different way. Part of what we're doing in EIM is recognizing what feels comfortable for our bodies, what doesn't. So that way we know what feels good for us and we can do that, and we avoid that which doesn't feel comfortable for us. Find a different way to approach space. Find a different way to massage the body. We can massage our necks. We can massage our heads. This is a level that we can take time to say, thank you, head. Thank you, head, for holding my brain. I appreciate you. Thank you, head. Thank you, neck, for holding up my head. Thank you, neck. Thank you, shoulders, for connecting my arms to my body. Thank you, arms, for the work that you do, and elbows for bending, and wrists for bending and swiveling, and hands for all that they do. Thank you, belly, for all that you take in. Thank you, lungs, for helping me breathe. Thank you, back, for holding me up, and my center for holding me up too. Thank you, legs. Thank you, feet. Thank you, knees. Thank you, ankles. It's a great opportunity to thank your vessel for carrying you through life, because these are the bodies that we have. And now expanding into level 2. So now our hands, our arms become levers as we are expanding into our sphere and exploring space. And now this is more dynamic. The muscles that help propel our arms, specifically our upper arms, originate in the center of our body. So anytime that we're moving our arms around in broad motions, we are engaging those upper arms, and we're engaging muscles that originate in the center of the body. Some of them live in the center of the body. So by moving our arms around, we're working our centers. And as you can see, my whole body, my whole upper body is moving around here. We can also, if we want to, add in some lower body motion to get more cardio. So we can add some steps. We can lift one leg and maintain that hold, which requires more work, and then that works the muscle more. The longer that you're holding that position up, the more gravity is working against the muscle. So the muscle has to work harder to maintain that position. The same way as we're moving slowly through space, the further out that our arms are from our bodies, the more we're going to feel the force of gravity, the harder our muscles have to work to maintain that motion. So if you feel like your arms are getting tired being out, it's okay to work in closer to the body because we're still mobilizing. Because the main goal of elementally intuitive movement is to mobilize your body so that it reminds your body that it can move and all the different ways that it can move. And in the process of slowly doing it, build strength so that eventually you can work further and further out from the body and maintain steady motion. And then you mix in with your levels, do some 2s, some 1s, some O, follow curvilinear motion. So we do curvilinear, we're going through all of the different planes, really. We're going horizontal, vertical, diagonal, or we can keep them rectilinear lines. So following straight planes of movement and following them with our whole body. So you see I'm twisting. So we're getting some stretching on our arms. We're twisting, we're turning, and getting a lot of movement even though we're seated, right? Now if we really want to add in the cardio, get the feet working, get the arms working at the same time. And in a seated position, we can give ourselves a really great workout and get our heart rates up, mobilize our joints, and not have to worry about potential fall, losing balance, because that's not great. I don't want to have to fall down and recover from that. But we can still do a lot right here in our chair. In elementally intuitive movement, you don't have to do what I'm doing. What I'm doing is just a particular way to explore. And as kids who are teaching their grandparents, this is your opportunity to say, hey, you get to do and explore space the way that you want to. Because your body is your body and my body is my body. The main thing that's important is that we're exploring space together and we're doing it mindfully. And we're paying attention to our breath. And we're holding ourselves upright from our center. Even if we're leaning back in our chair, we're still holding ourselves up. We can lean into our chair and add in some shaking and shimmy, and then massage ourselves against our chair as we shake. Our shaking serves us well, not just as standing, but also seated. We can use this to process tension and process stress. And shake it out because we are mammals. And as mammals, our bodies take this shaking off as a signal that the danger has passed. So we let the danger pass, or rather we shake it off, because unless we're actually in danger, we're probably not in danger. So there's no reason for our bodies to be on alert. So we shake it off, return back to calm, and return back to our aim. Whether we're doing O, or 1, or 2s. Level 1 is a wonderful opportunity to really check in with our bodies and determine if there's anything going on. If we feel something, notice that there's discomfort, then we can communicate that to the people that are there to provide us support and help us out. The better we can communicate what's going on in our bodies, the better other people can help us, the better we can help ourselves. And so we're moving. We're moving. That's the main thing of AIM, is mobilization, maintaining motion. maintaining constant motion. Whether we're putting in our legs or not, doesn't matter. Throwing in the legs might be bonus. Once we throw in the legs, we're getting some more core work because our bodies have to stabilize to hold us upright with just one leg versus two legs. And adding in the arm motion to the leg motion is now increasing the workout as well. So really, it's up to you how much you want to do, how much you're able to do. Listen to your body. Everybody's different every day. Some days you're going to be capable of more, other days not as much, and that's okay. Just recognize it, witness it, pay attention, honor your body, listen to your vessel when it says it needs something. If you need to keep your arms closer to you, that's okay. We're still getting mobilization. It's all about keeping that movement going and trying to keep it as fluid as possible. Breathe. And share presence with each other. Share wellness with each other. That's the point of aiming to guide our grandparents. We aim to guide them and to guide ourselves at the same time. So how active you want to be is up to you. You can be very, very, very active, or you can keep it minimal. It's up to you. Mix it up, change it up. Every time we practice AIM, it's a different aim. What stays the same is our attention to breath through our nostrils, our attention to holding ourselves up from our center, our attention to hinging at the hips so that we support our spine, our attention to maintaining our feet in alignment with our knees as much as we can. Mine started to go in. And see, that's just ways that our bodies is noticing these changes, accommodation, shifting. That's what we're doing as we practice AIM. Paying attention and adapting as needed to help support our bodies as best as we can, according to their biomechanical designs. Because everybody's different, but we do share a lot of the same biomechanical systems. So we can do these things together with each one of us honoring our own bodies and our own vessels and what feels best and comfortable for us right now, today, in this moment. Practicing AIM outdoors gives me an opportunity to breathe fresh air and to acknowledge that I do not have control over the things in my environment, like wind or airplanes or motorcycles driving by. And it's not personal, even though I'm trying to record. The plane isn't flying by to pester me. And that's life. Sometimes we need to acknowledge and recognize when we're frustrated, but it's not that it's being done on purpose for us to be frustrated. It's just life, and that's okay. We adapt, we adjust, we learn as best as we may. That's part of AIM. Elementally intuitive movement, paying attention to ourselves, not just to how our bodies feel, but also our feelings, our emotions, listening to them. If you really want to get creative with it, you can start expanding the reach of your leg and spread the legs out and explore gravity from a different space. You get more of a stretch. That might not be so great for some of our grandparents. Some of our grandparents might be super awesome with it. Some of our grandparents can do amazing things in acrobatic feats. Other ones are happier in a stable seated position. Either way, they're great because they're our grandparents and we love them and we appreciate them because we're here because of them. So thank you, grandparents, for birthing our parents and raising them so that we could exist as your grandchildren. And we appreciate you. And this is for you, so that we can do this together and stay mobile for all of our lives. Thank you so much, and I'll see y'all in a few months for the equinox when it's the same day and night time. Yeah! And that's our next AIM to guide grandparents. In the meantime, there's AIM for mobility every first Saturday of the month, and then there's a whole new series of AIM, Elementally Intuitive Movement, the 36-week program, launching each month to start out if you're interested in learning more. Thank you so much, and y'all have a fabulous winter. Happy solstice.